We are live. I think we're good. Yep. Hey guys, welcome back to the DLC podcast where we talk games, movies, all things in between. I'm Isaac. That's Jacob.
How's it going, folks?
Good job. I was seeing if you learned from last week.
I got you. Got you.
And beneath us is the greatest of all time, the GCJ himself. Can't hear him at all, but he said, "What's up?"
I can't hear him. Why can I hear him?
My apologies. I was. What is up? So
there we go. So I hope everyone's doing well. Sorry for lack of content this week. I started a new job and I got school, so I've been kind of busy. But hopefully once things get settled, I'll get back to streaming again and whatnot. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And if you're new and you're watching the VOD, make sure to hit the like, maybe the subscription, the notification bell, that way you know when we go live. And and you can find out. Oh, and you can follow our social medias. Jacob can tell you that.
On Instagram and TikTok at Duelist Chat.
We have a Twitter too, but that's kind of I guess some dust on it right now.
We don't talk about that. Yeah, like we don't talk about Twitter. Oh no.
Nothing bad happened. Just I don't know. We just haven't done nothing. But maybe one day we will. I'll try to get back onto that. But
it's just up there with that Facebook.
Yeah. We'll get it all figured out. We're all busy individuals. But we'll find our stride. But that being said, this topic came about because I was talking to one of our associates, I guess you say, a buddy of ours, on his Twitch, and he was just talking about the DCEU and how he feels things have gotten good and things straightened out, things are on their merry way. But when I asked him, is it because of James Gunn? He was like, no, it's because the Snyderverse came out and that set the timeline straight and everything's all fine and hunky-dory, which I strongly disagreed with. That being said, as the title says, is DC getting a second chance? Have they caught a second wind? We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. This kind of got brought up too, just because we're just thinking, what would be a good remake, and then we get on the topic of DC movies, and then we just all kind of agree that the DCEU just needs a whole remake in itself, and from what I've been hearing, it's getting one, and what they've done so far is working out. I know I haven't been keeping up with it at all. I haven't seen the new Suicide Squad, though I've heard it was amazing. Heard Peacemaker is just phenomenal. And honestly, I feel like it started even before those two, because me and Isaac, we talked about Titans. How when we first saw it, we didn't think it was going to be much of anything, and it ended up being really good. It is good. I would say, what's the other show that came out with Titans? We were watching it.
Doom Patrol?
Doom Patrol. There we go. Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is good.
Honestly, I put Doom Patrol. Cheesy. Honestly, I put Doom Patrol over Titans.
That's Brendan Fraser, huh? Is that Brendan Fraser?
Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
I got you, bro. I got you.
So my thing is like, as a whole, it's getting better. I feel like they're taking good steps with Titans and Doom Patrol. As far as movies go, I have only heard the complaints. I haven't seen the movies because I honestly stopped at Man of Steel. I saw Man of Steel and just refused to watch any more Zack Snyder's films.
Yeah, and contrary to popular belief, there are people that suggest Man of Steel is a phenomenal movie, and it changed the DC.
Yeah, I mean,
it did. It changed DC, and yeah, because that started the whole. Oh, and this is one thing I brought up to the guy, and he strongly disagreed with me. I was like, that started the popularity, I guess you could say, of everyone trying to be Batman. Or
Yeah.
like everything trying to be Batman, dark and gloomy, this and that. And he's like, no, no,
Edgy.
no. He's like, no, that's just realism. I'm like, that's Batman.
You're right. No, you're right. It's realism. When we got aliens coming down to Earth all the time. It's how realistic it can be.
That's not fair. So with Man of Steel coming out and the cusp of Batman v Superman, which of course was going to be, everyone knew the team up is the lead into just, but with coming into that, they were contending with Marvel. The biggest thing about Marvel, like Age of Ultron, it was mostly comedy with some pretty serious moments every once in a while sprinkled in. But I mean, James Spader as like that was my first a slight pull off. Like, that was my first experience actually watching Ultron, actually experiencing that because I'm not really a big comics fan. My wife is. And I was like, okay, if Ultron's this way, that's pretty great. It's hilarious. She's like, no, he is something totally different. Like, he's supposed to be really serious, right?
Yeah.
Well, on the cusp of that, Warner Brothers came out and was just like, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, we are a no jokes. This is going to be a serious universe. They were trying to get away from that, only because to me, a minority of people saying that it's just too much comedy in the Marvel universe for me to take it too seriously. So they were trying to bank off that. They said no jokes whatsoever. It wasn't going to be a funny. It's all going to be dark and gritty. And so I would say it more comes to that, like Batman v Superman coming in and them trying to make it super duper serious for no reason when there should have been there's a playfulness to DC that they missed.
And then, and then you get the meme of, what did you say? Martha.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I would say that, you mentioned they're competing with Marvel, which obviously they are. But I feel like they're also competing with themselves. Like the Batman trilogy with Kristen Bell was just phenomenal. That in itself was as good as Marvel movies, if not better. Like if someone says that DC movies are better than the Marvel movies, I would disagree unless they're referencing the Kristen Bell movies.
And I can't agree the Christian Bale movies are better than the Marvel movies, but they certainly were contenders. They obviously but better.
They were the closest thing to Marvel movies, and honestly, I wouldn't disagree with someone if they said they were better, because they were good. They were edgy, but they captured Batman, and I feel like DC saw how big of a success this was, and it's like, okay, we need to run with this.
Well, they focus on the wrong aspects. Like there was comedy and a little bit of more like just kind of like the Playboy Bruce Wayne, that was pulled into it that really like made this beautiful thing. And then they were just like, oh, it's just because it's dark and gritty and everything was super serious. It's like, no, you miss a lot of. I mean, Batman has been memed so hard in the internet age.
Yeah, but those movies were dark and gritty, and that it was part of its success. Yeah. And I feel like when they made other moves like Arrow, not that Arrow started off bad. Arrow actually started off good. I didn't like it at first because to me, Green Arrow, he's funny. He's not always dark and serious like Batman, but they made him dark and serious. And for a while, it did work out. Like, okay, that's cool. And then Flash.
Yeah, they took away Barry Allen's sense of humor. The class clown.
See, that makes no sense.
And the thing is, what was funny is when the class clown, when the Flash was on Arrow, he acted like Barry Allen. Perfect. He was dorky.
His reveal had an arrogance to it, kind of slow. Yeah, dude. Like I really liked his reveal, and then it's just like.
And then they went, no, but so going back to the Christopher Nolan films, one thing that was mentioned was because I know there's a lot of Snyder fans out there, right? And they would legit do anything, say anything to protect their boy, and that's fine.
I mean, that sounds like a crackhead.
Anyways, but some will say the Christopher Nolan movies weren't Batman movies, but villain movies. And Batman was just a piece in there that Had he not been in there, he wouldn't have been missed.
I mean, okay, so if we want to go with that, let's go with that. It's still a good movie. It's still good content. My thing is, even if Batman isn't the center focus point, that's okay, because even in the comics, he's not always the center focus point. Like reading Batman and Robin, one of the trade paperbacks was focused on the Joker the entire time. When I read Batman when he's going out to Europe with the Joker, Batman's not the focus point. So to me, that shows me you got more depth, that you can not only depth. Thank you. Not only can you focus on your main superhero, but you can also focus on the villains.
Yeah, no, I know. When he said that, I was like, so you're basically saying Christopher Nolan is a better storyteller. So I mean, that's what I took it as. But neither here nor there. My thing is, so just to throw it out there right now, right? Because I mean,
no offense to anybody.
You get offended, I don't care if you get offended. It doesn't bother me any. It's some will say I just hate Christopher Nolan, right? Some will just say that, and would they be wrong? Yes, because I don't hate him. Like I like 300. It was a little cheesy, but I liked it. I liked I believe he did Dawn of the Dead, right? The newer one, the one like in the mall.
Yeah, the reboot. I think
the reboot. Yeah, I know it wasn't as well received, but I enjoyed it still. I had a good time with it. And I mean, the later zombie movie, I can't remember. That was just utter garbage, but that's neither here nor there. But basically, the one thing I've learned from him is his ideas are great. He just can't put pen to paper.
Who's this?
Zack Snyder.
Christopher Nolan.
No, Zack Snyder. I'm talking Zack Snyder.
Well, you said Christopher Nolan, so I was.
My bad. I'm sorry. Zack Snyder.
Okay.
I'm saying Zack's my bad. That's what I'm saying. 300 and Zack Snyder. I'm sorry.
That's fair. I was like, maybe I'm just really wrong. Gonna have to start googling some stuff later. Christopher Nolan did all that? Oh God! Like,
no, I'm sorry, Zack Snyder. Like, I see what he's going for, but it just doesn't come out the way he plans it. And the thing is, like, okay. So my friend Chano, the guy I started a podcast with, he was like, Isaac, if you're gonna watch BVS, watch the extended cut. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And it's sad. I gotta watch almost 4 hours of content to get a grasp of the story and still hate it.
I mean, my thing that should be a warning sign right there. When someone says you gotta watch the extended version, usually when someone says that, it's like, oh, you love the regular version that much, well, the extended version is also amazing.
Like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
The Lord of the Rings is perfect as is, but hey, if you want more, like me, you know how I am. I love Lord of the Rings. I want more content. Well, you have another hour and some change on the extended, and honestly, and the thing is, the quality doesn't dip at all from that. It's pretty seamless for the most part, and I enjoy it. But with BVS, I'm watching this, I'm just like, I still feel like something's missing. There's some plot holes that are just still not there. So I can only imagine what the regular one looked like. But even then, I didn't enjoy. It wasn't good. Like, granted. Let me say this: Ben Affleck as Batman, I thought he was great. Yep. Henry Cavill as Superman, I still feel like he was done terribly. Like, I mean, he fits him to a T. What Superman is. But that screenplay, that writing, is just, it does not do them boys justice.
Yeah.
Like, the one thing I
hate the writer, it's not the actor there. Like,
exactly. Like the scene where you see Batman fighting the thugs, where he uses his bat hook and pulls a crate over his head and it flies and knocks people out, and he's just beating the hell out of them. I liked it because it was a little comic booky, but it was still kind of brutal to where I'm like, he's an older Batman. He's like, like, I mean, have you seen BVS, like the animated one, you got the idea. But
Yeah.
but the way it just the way things that was the high point, and then things just started going downhill. And then I'm watching it, and this is before I've seen the memes. And then he's about to kill Superman. He's like, Martha, what'd you say? Why'd you say that name? And he goes like, ah, like what?
So okay, that's its own topic of like trauma. The kid's been through a lot of trauma.
I will say this though, that movie made me want to eat Jolly Ranchers.
I don't.
Oh,
I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know why it would.
Lex
Luthor, yeah. Okay,
okay,
so I'm gonna preface this starting off by saying this: Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor was better than I expected.
Oh yeah,
I was like, okay, he's not the same guy that I was expecting, like that cool, calm, collected businessman who's going to take over the world. But his eccentricness and his god complex were perfectly played as just this new age Lex Luthor, like this up and coming young buck who thinks the whole world's going to fall to him, and this it's just this chaotic arrogance to him, and I loved it. Two, I'm gonna kind of going backwards. Two, the whole Martha thing, he does depict someone who's been through a lot of trauma and he can't seem to get past that. They're really playing off the whole Batman's traumatized, but instead of Batman being able to internalize his trauma to focus on what he needs to do, that whole movie was just kind of like a serenade to his issues that he doesn't seem to be able to let go of at all. So here's my take on BVS. I liked BVS on the extended cut because there was a lot of storytelling, but I will say I think what really took away from it, because Man of Steel, people have got their opinions. I wasn't as impressed with it, but it was pretty cool. It's like, hey, at least we're getting it, so I was okay with it. I love DC over Marvel. That's how I used to have it. Like, Deadpool is one of my favorite characters, but as a whole, I grew up with DC more. Sure, I watched X-Men back in the day and Spider-Man and stuff, but I watched Justice League. I watched Batman the animated series. I watched Superman the animated series. I watched.
Growing up, when it came to because like me and Jacob were broke, and I'm sure you're part of the same ladder. DC for the most part, when it came to shows, was more accessible. Marvel was.
Cartoon Network threw it on there, and even if you didn't have cable, you could catch the fuzzies, baby.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like you also had shows like Batman Beyond, Static Shock. Like DC was always in your face.
Oh, don't even get me started on going to Batman Beyond, going to Static Shock. These just amazing pull-ins. Even the Superman animated series was a beautiful tribute to it. Yeah, beautiful. So my thing is, where I think BVS went wrong was we only saw one side of the coin, which was Superman. And they try to force a Batman new backstory, a Batman new path to where he is, a Batman new vendetta in life, a new Batman altogether, similar to the Superman. They tried to force that into a duo movie while also trying to talk about the duo and pit them against each other in this forced altercation that just doesn't make sense, Honestly, the best thing about that movie, besides Jesse Eisenberg, was Gal Gadot coming out as Wonder Woman. Yep. That theme song, I was so hyped for it. I feel like they dropped the ball in Wonder Woman in certain areas. It still was a hype movie, pretty decent. I feel like it had a horrible, life lesson, and I think that we're really giving too much credit to Germans and the ability to get headshots all the time for her just to be able to hold her hands up like this and block every shot from a Gatling gun with her shield up like this on her face. I have a lot of opinions about the Wonder Woman show or the movie that came out and her character development. I wish they would have kept it with that fighter Wonder Woman from BVS that when she came in, she got knocked back by Doomsday Zod and gets knocked back and just and she goes back in like a barbarian or ready to attack, and then you watch that whole movie, it's just terrible. But going back to BVS, the issue was they pushed way too much. It would have been better if we would have gotten a Ben Affleck Batman origin story, kind of come up, let him do his own thing, and then instead of trying to force a Batman new origin story coming in and trauma and stuff, actually like just play out there's this weird, like, you could have ended his movie with, what do you mean there's this alien, and then he's like looking through he's the reason that this building came down and killed my father. Like, you could have done something like that, but instead you try to force it into a movie. And I think my last qualm with it was, and the issue I had with like the depiction of Batman as a whole, not Ben Affleck. I think that he looked the part, he played a good older Batman. I just feel like they really took away his ability to think.
I mean,
I'm sorry. It's not even just planning, it's thinking.
No, it's not even that. He is so gadget dependent.
I mean, but that is partially Batman, but
I know,
yeah.
but the thing is, like,
to an extent.
No, but the thing is, like, you're right. He needs gadgets because he doesn't have powers. But I mean, he also the one guy that could dodge the Omega Beam without the utility belt.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
his martial arts and physical prowess was absolutely amazing.
So, like, seeing him people say, well, he's older now. Like, even older Batman should still be able to hold his own. And as you're saying, he's a seasoned veteran at this point. He should be able to already strategize and come up with different scenarios. Know his like, he knows his limits.
They took away his ability to like plan things out. Nothing he did was planned. It was like, let's hope this works. I've got this car that I just outfitted with a bunch of blasters. Surely one of these will hurt this man. And when it doesn't work, like, it really annoyed me that Ben Affleck's Batman had to be a depicted Batman of little strategy.
So
like, to me. So
I would. It sounds like we're just ragging on them, but that's not really what's the whole podcast. we're telling you the bad right now and what's gonna go good, and then if it's a second chance.
That's so that's like that. I throw it up on Instagram. Like, that's where it was. This is where it was. Where it is right now is there have been some letdowns in certain things from the original Suicide Squad and their Joker depiction to. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. So I had suggestions. I had 2 suggestions, and one of them I got laughed at in the face, but that's because they're a Zack Snyder fan. Because in their eyes, Zack Snyder still runs DC, and I'm just like, no. Because even with the Snyder cut, which was that was the whole cut, which is bullshit, because the HBO invested more money into it, and I'm sure he got. You took the feedback, and he went back and reworked some things, and you know what? I would have done the same thing. But let's not act like that was what it was the whole time. Like, if nothing had happened and that movie came out as is, that was not the movie. I'm gonna die saying that. There's no way in hell that was his movie. That being said, it still wasn't good. Also, James Gunn, Marvel effed up. Marvel pulled a Nintendo, and they gave up a good asset to a competitor, and it worked out for them. Nintendo with Sony. Yeah. Just for those who don't know, Nintendo was like, if it wasn't for Nintendo, PlayStation wouldn't be a thing. So if it wasn't for Marvel firing James Gunn under reasonable reasons, I get it. You know, not defending the guy. But DC knew what he was. They swiped him up in a heartbeat. And he came in with a fist of fury and he was like, you know what? I'm gonna take Suicide Squad, a movie that bombed. I'm gonna find characters that no one knows about, or at least aren't popular, and I'm gonna make a banger of a movie. And what did he do? He did just that. And now a character lesser known that I didn't know about until the movie came out, Peacekeeper, has his own show and is knocked out the park. That being said, James Gunn can show you he can write a movie and a TV series. That's the man that needs to run DC right now.
And and like you're saying, it's like, we're not trying to like beat a dead horse with Zack Snyder. The reason we're bringing this up, as Isaac says, to show you the bad. So let's look at it. Like, all the Zack Snyder fans, you love Zack Snyder because you love DC. That's it. It's a pride thing. You do not want to admit it's bad. The fact that DC hired this guy after knowing why he got fired is evidence enough saying, okay, our last few movies have done terrible. We
Did
need
some weird
help.
things in desperation. I mean,
Right.
yes.
your standards lower. I mean, they said no comedy until like Thor Ragnarok, and then suddenly Dawn of Justice has a lot of comedy in it. You know, it's like, oh, okay.
And the thing is, like, and I say all the time, I read more Marvel comics, but like Juicy was saying, like for me growing up, DC was in my face because Fox Kids was there, and that's where Marvel was on. That's where Spider-Man, Wolverine, they were on Fox Kids. That got canceled. I had the Kids WB, and all I had was DC in my face. And then whenever I had access to cable, I'm watching Justice League. I don't care about the Marvel shows. I want Justice League because Batman and all the heroes are legit. So one of the things I brought up was James Gunn. I mean, let him take over. Like, let him write everything out. And people say, well, he's too comedic and this and that. Suicide Squad showed, yeah, he could be comedic, but he can still add emotions when when it needs to be there. It doesn't have to be edgy the whole time. He shows you can have fun with it. Having fun does not. I mean, because there are sometimes where I say Marvel, you can tell they're forcing. It gets to a point where there's some moments they're forcing jokes, right? And
I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was literally Guardians of the Galaxy 1 reskinned with a smaller group.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
it's like,
good.
But
so good.
You know, it's good. I mean, but it's the same movie.
Exactly. No,
like,
it is. And honestly, I mean, it's Guardians of the Galaxy. People don't really hold it. It's not up there. But anyways, that was my one suggestion. The other suggestion I said, and then I told Juicy this, and Juicy kind of agreed with me, I believe, is DC has their strengths and their weaknesses. Their weaknesses is starting a legacy of stories that tie in together on the long run, like Marvel. What's their strength? Making movies based on already developed characters. For one, when they made Justice League, that was the panic red button. Oh my God, Avengers blow up, hit the button. We got to start this whole thing, get Justice League. No. What I said was, hey, Jacob, do you know who Batman is?
Yep.
Does Mom know who Batman is?
Not really.
She knows who Batman is. She knows who Batman is.
Most people know who Batman is.
What I'm saying is, they know who Batman is, but they don't know his origin. But they know who Batman is. But
what I'm saying is, Batman.
I think I would disagree. I think that most of everyone knows a boy lost his parents to a horrible tragedy, and now he wants to be a bat.
That's what I'm saying. Anyways, most fans and most commoners, had access to cable, watch Justice League. They know who Green Lantern is. They know who Batman is. Flash, Hawkgirl. They know them. They know the core. Do they know their backstories, their origins? No. But did we ask for that when we watched it? No. Because we got enough story through the TV show. So I'm like, just make a movie called Justice League. We already know who the characters are. The only excitement would be who's playing them. And then wada bing, wada boom, right? Like you don't have to get Ben Affleck's Batman to come in to be Justice League to keep the line going. Like, don't forget about the line. Just if you want to make a series, do a 3-part. I mean, not 3-part, but a 3-movie series, like the Dark Knight franchise. You could do Justice League 1, 2, and 3, and everyone would be like, "Oh my God, crazy!" Right? And then if you want, and at that point, you could be like, "All right, well, that worked out." But hey, they really liked Mike. I'm going to say this because I still want it to happen. They like Michael J. White as Green Lantern. You know what? Let's just give him his own movie, like the way Peacekeeper got his own show, or give him a TV show, like the way Peacekeeper got his own show. No one saw that coming, but I mean, people loved them. They saw they loved them. They're like, hey, let's give them more. Let's make it into a mini series, and that's what they could do. They could make these franchise movies, and if people want more, you could turn them into little series or their own movie if you wanted. But following right in the coattails of Marvel, that's like little bro following big bro. That's little bro.
Well, that's also not fair too, because so Marvel started, of course, showed Iron Man, showed Captain America, right, and then showed Thor, and of course Thor would be a lesser known thing. So we had 3, right, and then Avengers happened. We didn't get the backstory to the Hulk, really. Now, of course, Edward Norton was supposed to be a part
Edward
of it.
Norton,
that was a part of it.
No, Edward Norton was supposed to be part of it. Hey, the fact that contract no get negotiations went downhill, that doesn't matter. He did have a story.
I know it was a part of it, but the fact that we got Mark Ruffalo for it, and his character is vastly different than Edward Norton's.
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo sucks.
I mean, we already knew that. But then let's take it even a step further. We go to Civil War. Who gets brought in? Black Panther. We, as normal, just we're experiencing as we experience it. Unless you watch the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, you probably didn't know too much about Black Panther. You know,
but that's what I'm saying with Peacekeeper and Suicide Squad. We don't know who the Black Guardian.
What I'm saying is I'm supporting your point by saying like they brought in Black Panther. Everyone got super hyped for it. Everyone went and did their own research. Everyone still watched that movie and was like, Black Panther is one of the best characters. We love everything that's happening right here.
Dude, that's freaking genius.
Yeah. And then they start pulling in more and more and other people, you know, and it's like, you don't know everything about them. We didn't know everything about the Falcon, you know, whenever he was brought in Civil War, but people went and looked him up and found out, hey, he's a part of this, right? So that's one point that's like, yeah, no, I totally agree with that because they've already done it in Marvel and it was very successful. Mm-hmm. Let people go find it themselves. But two, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I disagree that people wouldn't know the origin of Batman, and the reason why is because I know Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman and The Flash. I know their backstories almost by heart. And the reason why isn't just because of Superman and Batman and Justice League and stuff. It's also because of Krypto, the super dog, which was pretty much a carbon copy, and all these different animals did the same thing. It's because of the oh gosh, is it the Justice Friends or something like that? They're from Dexter's Laboratory, and it literally was a joke of all of that stuff. It's Venture Brothers.
And
it's
Bartman. You have Bartman.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
look, you have freaking Larry Boy.
Yeah,
Batman,
like Larry Boy is literally Batman.
So your points. Still, I disagree because people know who Batman. Yes, but just because they know of Batman, don't mean they know his backstory. Most people do. Yes, I can guarantee you. If I go ask my mom, she ain't gonna know how Batman became Batman.
Want to wager?
Oh,
I give you my word. I would not tell my man anything. I would like $10. $10. We'll wager. Okay. No. Dinner. Or lunch.
We'll do dinner.
Who's paying for the pizza when you come down? I like this because I get to be a part of it and I don't lose anything. It's perfect.
People who aren't even slightly immersed in this world aren't going to know. Like if you have your toes in it, then yes, you might know. But just because you've heard of these characters, seen knockoff versions of these characters, doesn't mean you're going to know their backstories.
So and I wholeheartedly disagree. You won't know their full backstory. I'm not going to know what type of pancakes that Bruce Wayne liked to eat when he was thinking about his dead mom. But I am going to know that he came out of a theater and his parents got gunned down and he fell into a cave with bats and wants to be a bat. And the reason why is because of all the pull-offs. If you like any type of media that's not superhero, like cartoons, in anime, I would say animation, or even just comedic parodies and stuff like that. You know Superman's backstory, you know Batman's backstory, and while I'll give you maybe not the Flashes, everyone knows about Wonder Woman. So there's usually a pull off of some Viking or Nordic kind of lesser god shit. Like there's these things.
I can't remember what it was called, right? Because I was a kid. It was an older DC show. I want to. Was it like Super Friends? I think that's Marvel.
Super Friends is them. Yeah, it used to be Super Friends, and it was Justice League.
Okay, so Super Friends, right? The older one. This was the exact same day I discovered Mobile Fighter G Gundam. And the day I watched my first the day I watched my first G.I. Joe episode, because we were at a motel and I was sick with food poisoning, and my dad turned on the TV and went to sleep with the trash can right next to me. We're at Conroe, Jacob.
Good parenting. That's what that is. Good parenting.
But, I remember because I never I was 6, 7 at the time. I didn't know nothing about Wonder Woman, and the legit episode was Wonder Woman's origin, and it was basically they were carving out a little girl through stone, and then her mother wished. Basically, a Pinocchio story. Like, oh, I want a daughter.
Well,
the gods,
people made of clay, and it's kind of a Greek thing. Yeah, but yes.
Yeah, and then,
okay.
And then she came about all naked, like little kid, like, so that's how Wonder Woman came about? Okay.
So real quick. You're saying that because people know of Batman, they're going to know of his origin. Is this correct?
So what we're saying is there's no need to do an origin story that you've redone thousands of times since everyone already knows.
I get that, but that's not my point. My point is that not everybody is going to know Batman's origin story.
Now, granted,
Like I said,
okay, hold on, okay, let me do this. I know how Jacob's mind works. He works on technicalities. So, Jacob,
I know he wants to be technically right.
If I ask a 3-year-old, I don't expect a 3-year-old to know.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Reason.
Within reason.
Okay.
So you're telling me that in this age where where Batman gets used literally on multiple levels from animation to live action.
I want to say something real quick.
And you're telling me no one's going to think of how he came to be.
Hold on. I want to say something real quick.
I'm going to say this. Go ahead, Isaac.
I want to say something real quick. What's more likely? People know Spider-Man got bit by a spider, or Bruce Wayne is an orphan?
Spider-Man.
Okay.
I agree with that too.
No, but what I'm saying is, I feel Batman still has.
I mean, because on that same token, how many people believe that Spider-Man got bit by a spider and became Spider-Man? And how many people believe that Bruce Wayne got bit by a bat?
Exactly.
And now he believes he has superpowers.
That's my point, is that people aren't always going to know the origin story. Just because they know of Batman and know their knockoffs doesn't mean they know, especially if they don't read comics, they don't care about the universe. Like,
you know what? Okay, here we go.
A parent who buys their kids toys of their favorite series isn't always going to know about the series, even something as big as Batman.
I feel like this should be a poll. This should be put as a poll somewhere. I don't know if Instagram does polls. I know Spotify does polls.
Yeah, we'll do one on Spotify. We'll do one on Instagram.
Then we'll do one on Instagram too, to say one or two.
And Twitter. We'll do one on Twitter.
Yeah, we'll do one on Twitter. But all right, so let's backtrack a bit. So those are my ideas, right? That's what I want. And then, so the thing is, I told my friend this: the Flash movie's happening a lot sooner than Warner Brothers wanted, but they effed up so bad so quick that they are like, get the Flash movie going.
You got no choice. Yeah, you got no choice.
We need a Flashpoint this shit. we need to go. Okay, so my thing is, where do they go from here, right? Because with Flashpoint, anything can happen, right? We all know this. Does he mess up the timeline to where it intervenes with? Because I guess you could say James Gunn is part of the DCEU, but would it more correlate towards his side, or will they try to go back and remedy Zack Snyder and keep that going? Honestly, with James Gunn on the side.
Honestly, here's my theory. They're going to get rid of Zack Snyder stuff because it's garbage. Let's be honest, it's garbage. It's going to depend on how well this new Batman movie does, on which direction they're going to go.
Right.
If it does good, I can see them teaming up with Gunn and, merging Peacemaker and that stuff into it.
But the thing is, would we want that though? Would we want that?
I mean, like I said, it just depends how the Batman movie comes out.
I have a suggestion for them. I'll wait till. I'm going to tell you, I do have a place I want this to go, but I will say, like, as a pull off, like, no. Actually, I think that Zack Snyder's and James Gunn, theirs are going to still exist together.
It shouldn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if DC did it.
Well, one thing I can say is how they could keep Zack Snyder's legacy alive is by not replacing the actors, because the actors themselves are good at it. Even though I think Ben Affleck said he's done for Batman, but that's not. But either way, we'll see how Robert Pattinson goes. But they could keep Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and everyone, and then just have it kind of migrate towards James Gunn or someone of the like.
Yeah. But no, continue though, Jake. I'm sorry about that. I was just like,
But to go off Isaac's thing on that, if they want to keep Zack Snyder in it and with Flashpoint, then all they should do is bring up different universes, mention theirs, and be like, "Yeah, we don't talk about that universe."
no. So actually, I'm gonna. So that's my point. What they need to do is multiverse it, and the reason
Yeah.
why Flashpoint's gonna happen, a lot of things based off of that, and then Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I know they did in the series and the shows. But
It
what if we
sucked.
made it into the DC? But what if we made it into the DCEU and made this whole new set of people for the DCEU? Bring in Zack Snyder's, and maybe even overlap to some older stuff we've had, like the Christian Bale Batman.
Okay.
But now he's older.
Real quick, I just want to say one thing. How dare they make Kevin Conroy a bad guy?
Oh my gosh!
How dare
How
they?
dare
And
you
kill
do that?
him.
Indeed.
And kill him. You make him a bad guy.
I
and
was
you
like, no
kill
way.
Kevin Conroy.
He
I'm
knew what he
sorry.
was signing up for.
Yeah,
money.
money.
It was an extra paycheck, but I'm like, dude,
So
he's up there with Adam West in my opinion. That's so disrespectful.
I know. We've already kind of migrated against it, but I am gonna take it back to the origin story. I think that we're on a different page than you, Jacob. For you, you're saying that are people gonna are they really gonna know? Is it really gonna be that successful? My thing is, I would still argue yes, but understand it's coming from a point of we're done with the origin story stuff. Just make the movie with them. And the reason why I feel like we just need to drop the origin story thing altogether is because of what happened in Dawn of Justice, the Zack Snyder cut. You know?
Okay, so I'm not saying we need more origin stories. That's not what I was saying. I agree with you. We don't need more origin stories. Pick up a comic book if you want an origin story. All I'm saying is not everybody's going to know the origin story.
So, I guess let me put it this way. So you're wanting to will they know about it? They know enough. They've done a quick Google search and they'll know about it. But will they care? You're also talking from the sense of, is it going to matter?
It's not.
To them. Is it going to matter though if you do an origin story? You're saying people might not know. Let's be fair. These movies are not being made for new targeted audiences. There is a specific demographic that these movies are tailoring for to make the money, and that is the comic book people, the nerdy people. So at that point, an origin story is moot. You either know about it or you don't.
I get that. I'm not saying we need an origin story. I'm not saying there needs to be an origin story. All I'm saying was I disagree with the statement of everybody knows Batman's origin story.
I guarantee you that more than 50% of people, and I would even wager 70% of people, know his origin story.
That's fine. That just proves to my point that 30% don't know.
No. So my thing is, though, you can't just say let's just care about the minority. No one cares about the minority and the numbers when you're trying to get a certain
I'm not
outcome.
saying.
All right, okay. We're going in circles here. We're going in circles.
No. So here, but he brought it up, and this is my last point to it: was no one knows the actual origin of Green Lantern, and yet when Green Lantern hit that screen in Dawn of Justice, actually Green Lantern, and they showed the origin of him, their little origin, but him dying and the ring going off someone else. There was so much hype in the movie theater. Now, I mean, I guess everybody was pretending to know, but everyone did stand up and were freaking out about it. I guess my point to it is the people who matter in terms of the DC, the people who might be listening right now because they want to know, what do they think about my series? What do they think about DC? These people know the origin. And I guess that's why I was saying there was a disconnect there. Because it's we're not talking about the layman person. Like I said, a parent's not really going to necessarily care. If they can get away with costume. Huh?
Thank you for agreeing with me.
I think that the point is a non-issue. We are specifically addressing people that actually would watch this. And you're addressing everybody as a whole. And you're right. There's some 80-year-old out there who never knew about television who probably knows nothing about Man-Bat. And so,
You're right.
I mean,
Man-Bat is legit though. Man-Bat is pretty cool.
yeah, Man-Bat is
should
legit.
Make an appearance. Man-Bat should make. He should make an appearance. That'd be
My
probably
point still stands, and I'm going to win that bet with Isaac because my mom doesn't know how Batman became about.
Okay, so just to be sure,
well, I actually want to see, because if she does, I don't ever want to hear you try to make a little saucy technicality thing ever again. Because
I'm not sure that's in it.
I'm not either. It's a free pizza to me either way.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I'm comfortable with it because my mom watched Batman Begins with me in theaters once. So
there you go.
Okay, she's still not going to know it, and my point is still going to stand.
We'll see.
I'm going to be right.
I mean, we'll see. But anyways, I guess that's it for right. I guess let's go on and wrap it up. Right, let's go on and wrap it up before we go back in circles again and again.
I do want to say one thing though. I do want to say one thing. Not touching this topic.
Yeah.
With the universe and with the route they're going with, I see it being successful if they continue to step away from Zack Snyder's method. Because even how they did Titans and they went more in depth on the characters, they didn't fully give them origin stories, but they just went more in depth and they gave them more. And of course, these are shows, so you got more time, but you can do it in movies as well. The fact that if you're going to take time to actually do good storytelling, it's going to be more successful no matter who it's about. A good example of this is the Joker movie. Me and Jeremiah even talked about this. You can take the Joker out of it and it still be a good movie, but the fact that it is the Joker and it's well told show that DC can produce good products. They just haven't fully. They are now. They are now, and I feel they're heading in the right direction, but they still got a long ways to catch up to Marvel.
And before I want to say there's one more red button they could push that could save them, and this will destroy Marvel in its entirety.
Booster Gold.
That would be legit.
That would be hilarious.
That would be actually Booster Gold deserves his own movie. But
yes,
no.
Yeah.
So this guy is not part of the Marvel or the DC universe, but he could be. You know, he could be bought. I'm sure he's not very expensive. He goes by the name of Captain Planet.
I mean,
he's not neither. Yeah.
So he's a free agent. He's a free agent, baby. Captain Planet.
Just buy him and put him in.
Bro, get Space Ghost, get him, get Birdman. Make it Birdman at least makes some sense because of the Hawk people.
No. Check it out. No, here's how Captain Planet comes in. Batman just chilling, sipping some coffee. You know, Gotham is basically New York, full of pollution. And then his little bad thing's going off, and the aliens coming in. What's happening? And then you look, and you see a silver, green-haired man. He's here. He's like, I'm here to fight the pollution.
That'd be so bad. I do.
And then he's like, I'm here to help you clean the streets of litter. And Batman doesn't be like, all right.
Hey. So here's a twist for you. Batman does his things. We see Robert Pattinson in a couple movies. Let's say we're going to have a sequel, right? And at the end of the second one, like some stuff happens. Like, he's investigating some building, and it's like people keep saying it's haunted. Obviously, there's something more here. I got to investigate it, you know. And as he's going, something that seems out of this world happens, and he's like, oh, and so like his thing, like he goes to chase it down, and he runs into some chick. She's like, I can't find my glasses. It's like
I knew.
And so he goes out, and then all of a sudden it's like help me, Scoob, and then all of a sudden
they've already crossed paths. They've already crossed paths.
Exactly. And then like flipping on him. It's not Scooby-Doo and Batman. It's Batman x Scooby-Doo.
And then they go to the hood to find ghosts, and then find the Harlem Globetrotters.
Well, my thing is like, do it, make it happen. Like hit him with Jabberjaw just out of nowhere. Like King Shark meets Jabberjaw. Like, like I'm just saying, like,
oh my gosh.
but I seriously do think the multiverse would be the best way to keep Zack Snyder in there.
It would be. I would say one direction I would like them to go. And like I said, I feel what they're doing now is 10 times better what they have been doing with the shows and the movies. What I would like to see is them bring in the Crime Syndicate in, which goes down to different universes.
That's the one with the Owlman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, pull Owlman into this, man.
And honestly, kind of like, because they're already announced Constantine's coming back.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
That show was phenomenal.
Keanu Reeves is going to replay the role of Constantine. They're gonna.
That's amazing.
I mean, he's a hot commodity, but yeah, he deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, I find it funny that when he was on the Late Show and they asked him what movie he would want to replay again, he said Constantine, and they're like, "Make it happen." And then like 2 weeks later, DC's like, "Hey, you want to play Constantine?" And like,
I mean,
that was just hilarious. But my thing is, you bring that in because Constantine's a powerhouse, and he's pretty much warped in everything. Like, he's a part of what the Justice League does. He visits with Batman, Superman. Like, he
beat Dr. Fate.
He did. He kicked Dr. Fate's A. He's pretty much just like
a better Doctor Strange.
Well, he is like Doctor Strange. Who Doctor Strange is like immersed in everything the Avengers do, but like away from them, but still like protecting them from like the spiritual realm. That's what Constantine is. Depending how well this Batman movie does, and depending how well this Constantine movie does, if they both are successful, I can see them outdoing Marvel's universe.
Oh yeah, I mean, outdoing. We'll see. I mean, granted, the Eternals didn't leave any confidence on the table.
Outdoing right now? Okay, I can see it.
Yeah,
We're talking like hype of Endgame so much they released it 3 times. Once to get the Titanic special and once to pull some crappy Christmas special. I mean, like, no.
But as of right now, like right now, what Marvel is what it shelled out. Yeah.
Yeah. If we're comparing it to Black Widow, Eternals, and Shang-Chi, and they only got 1 out of 3 for that, okay, you're right. Like, I see you.
Like, I was telling my friend, I mean, people cut off, but anyway, I was telling my friend is Marvel peaked a little too early, so right now they plateaued, and people will say the TV shows, and I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're phenomenal.
Yeah. They are,
but once you get rid of because they're already pushing out the legacy characters, and Spider-Man is going back to Sony, So I'm kind of like, what we got going on, guys?
Okay. So the reason I say it can probably outdo Marvel is because, let's face it, the reason Zack Snyder's movies made money was not because they were good. It's because they have a strong fan base who refuses to admit that it was bad. As far as comic sales, DC does go above them. There's a bigger fan. They do. Last time I checked, they were above them recently.
Like, I remember DC about to go bankrupt.
They
because
were
of the comic sales. Now they're still
they're going to go bank. They're going to go bankrupt because of pretty much the show or the movies that have done terrible that they spent money on. But as far as
a lot more to put on the screen than it is to put on the paper.
Yeah.
Like,
as far as fan base, there is a bigger fan base as far as that. So if they do right, I can see them pulling in more. That's a big F though, because let's face it, DC does not have a good history.
Yeah, but I won't say DC has a bigger fan base. I will say they have a bigger, mature audience fan base. But Marvel literally has kids and grown men going, whereas DC.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the comic sales, I feel are higher. As far as industry, like Marvel sells more toys. Marvel sells more action figures, more like movies, more T-shirts, appeal. they sell more
They're
apparel.
sexy. Marvel is sexy, okay?
Yes,
And
yes.
DC's that
That's
cougar
appealing
that
because you can
peaked in high
relate with them
school.
better.
Yeah, that's
DC
it.
was always, and we've had that conversation for a long time ago, James. Like DC versus Marvel, the heroes of DC are the pinnacle. It's like I will never be Superman, but you want to aspire to be like him. But I could see myself ruining my life with cocaine as and drugs, and then but still being a hero. I could see myself drinking like Stark, but still getting up and saving the day. If I had all that money, I'd probably do that. But I would say this: DC may do better than Marvel. That'd be something I don't know about. But whoever does do better, it's minuscule in the comics, in my opinion, because they still both do really well. As far as the movies, Marvel has outpaced them so hard right now that the only thing DC to me could do if they did successful is to break even. Is to say, finally, we did this bad, and now we're here, and now we're right here, which is still under Marvel success. Eternals did horrible and still made money. Eternals did horrible and got bad. Well, no, and it got bad reviews in the first week, and people still sold out those theaters the next week. Don't like it is what it is. Marvel did well enough.
You know what it's because people don't watch. They knew the movie sucked, but it's that end credit scene that people want to see what continues on.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. Just looking up again, Marvel sells more comics North America. DC sells more comics worldwide. That's what I'm saying. They have a bigger fan base if they would just appeal to them. So
yeah, but Warner Brothers likes, stepping over their own foot, so that's okay.
Yeah,
tripping over themselves.
Put the Animaniacs in it. Get Freakazoid into DC. Do it.
Oh my god! I will say though, off Constantine, I do like Keanu Reeves as Constantine, but Matt Ryan deserves his flowers too. I don't know. Jake, have you watched the show?
I've watched parts of it.
First episode.
You've told me more about it.
You didn't like it after the first episode?
No, I'm just really bad about watching shows.
Oh, well.
It was actually really. I liked how it presented itself. It started. Okay, y'all have to understand. Whenever it comes to Marvel and DC and the comic book stuff, if my wife's not into it, I probably don't follow it because she's bigger into the comic books. Yeah. So she didn't really get caught onto it, so she didn't watch it. Same thing with Doom Patrol.
His appearance, his arrogance, his humor was perfect.
Yeah. I loved the first episode. It's just it wasn't for Tabby, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal. But all right, let's go and wrap it up.
Yeah.
So again, like I said earlier, if you're watching the VOD and you enjoy this type of content, make sure to subscribe that we don't miss out on any more. And if you agree with us, leave a like. If you disagree with us, I'm sure the Snyder fans may stone us, and I'm okay with that. I love a good beating. Let us know in the comments, whatever.
We'll try to get those polls up so that way y'all can tell us. I mean, I was going to ask you, I guess, real quick, how is the polls going to be? Is it just going to be, do you know Batman's origin story? Or are we going to make it multiple choice? Like, which one is Batman's origin story? And then put the right one, and then
I'm gonna ask. Do you believe that that people who know of Batman know his origin?
Yeah. So
yeah.
And speaking of that, you can lead Jacob. Where can they find that?
You can, like I said, we're gonna probably post it on Twitter at Duelist Chat, Instagram. I don't know if we can do polls, but I'll probably post something.
Just post it and put it in the comments.
Yeah,
TikTok.
Duelist Chat. TikTok. I will probably do a TikTok over it.
Yeah.
And one thing I do want to say, for those who aren't watching, or for those who are, me and Jeremiah got a new episode of Dudes Lunch Chatting coming out. If you're watching this, it's probably going to be out already, but that's only going to be listen only for now. For
just if you're watching this and it's not out yet.
Because if you're watching this right now, I mean, it's going to come out Friday, which is tomorrow.
Oh, I thought Monday. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
No, it's going to come out tomorrow. But for those who are just listening, check us out on YouTube, dude. Let's chat.
Yep, and I normally live stream, but I haven't been doing it because I said I started a new job. But once, like I said, the dust settles, I do still game. I game 1 hour a day. That's what I've been brought down to, 1 hour a day, and I've been playing Lost Ark.
Welcome to the workforce, baby. Like,
and I've been playing Lost Ark, but I know I did say I was on stream control and this and that, but things change, and I'm really addicted to that game, so I'm probably gonna stream that, and then
I'm about to say Lost Ark. I've heard some good stuff about that.
If you want to play, man, let me know. I can start a new character. I don't mind. But yeah. So just follow all of our socials, ring the notification bell. That way, whenever we do go live, because we still don't have a set schedule yet, because I don't know what life is gonna throw at us. But one thing I will say before I cut off, I am still cutting episodes in pieces. So you didn't get done this week because I started a new job this week and I've just been exhausted. But once things, like I said, settle down, we'll get back to doing episodes like that, because it seems you guys tend to enjoy 10, 15-minute videos instead of like an hour and some change. So yeah, with that being said, hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Catch you guys next time. Later.